Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Eugene deck profile for post-Omniscient Awakening. Wanted to update the first of the Dragon Empire decks that I built from the latest Cardfight Vanguard booster set. We finally got a brand new Eugene to change up the playstyle for the Eugene deck, along with a couple other new cards from the 5th Cardfight Vanguard Divine set. So no longer do you have to focus on the soul buildup for your Eugene for the retire power and setup of your different units. You can make use of the older Eugene support as well, since this card is still regarded as Heavy Artillery of Duststorm Eugene. So very happy with the results of the change support. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the Ride deck. For starters, we're running the Energy Generator with our grade 0 still being Double Gun of Duststorm Bart. We have a new grade 1 for the Ride line being Colored Strike of Duststorm Colores. When rode upon by Roaring Bullet of Duststorm Roanode, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Duststorm and its card name from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle the deck. So you get a good variety of cards that have Duststorm in the deck, so a good chance for consistency for searching for a specific card that you need. Our grade 2 is Roaring Bullet of Duststorm Roanode. When rode upon by a grade 3 with Eugene and its card name, Energy Blast 3, draw 2 cards, choose a card from your hand, put it into your soul. So building up some soul for your Eugene's main Vanguard ability, but also being able to draw into some more needed cards for your rearguard setup with this grade 2, and just using the Energy Blast ability, with our grade 3 being Inferno of Duststorm Eugene. Along with the copy that we run in the Ride deck, we're also running 3 additional copies of this card in the main deck also. This unit's also regarded as Heavy Artillery of Duststorm Eugene. Once per turn on the Vanguard circle, you can rest 2 rearguards, choose a column, and retire all of your opponent's rearguards in that column. So it's not just one retire now. With the pace of the game, I guess they've been able to bump up the ability for Eugene to be able to retire an entire column, which still definitely helps with clearing out rearguards, because that is still a big focus of the deck. And when this unit attacks a Vanguard, counter blast 1, soul blast 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 grade 3 or less units from among them, call them each to rearguard in the same column, shuffle the deck, and this unit gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. If your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater and your opponent has 3 or more open rearguards, all the units called get plus 5. So this also helps for your multiple attacks that you can do in the deck. Being able to call out new units to the same column means you can set up a booster and an additional rearguard for the attack after another rearguard in that column also attacked, and also being able to thin out the deck to hopefully hit more triggers depending on what you want to use also. For the grade 2s, we're running 4 copies of the new grade 2 Resplendent Bullet of Duststorm Lugnet. With this card on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Eugene and its card name, Soul Blast 1, rest this unit, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So retire power, but also on rearguard at the beginning of your battle phase, if your opponent has 1 or less rearguards, stand this unit and this unit gets plus 5 until end of turn. So not only does it have more of a retire setup, it also just gives you the option to restand if you have to use it, not even for its own ability, but just to rest for Eugene's own skill as well, to then restand it again to be able to attack with also. We're also still running the 4 copies of Howitzer of Duststorm Dustin, and as I said, a good number of cards in the deck have Duststorm, so they can be easily searched with the Ride deck as well. When placed on rearguard, if your Vanguard's Heavy Artillery of Duststorm Eugene, which this Eugene still counts, you can put a card from your hand to the soul, draw a card, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rearguards, and retire it. So more retire power while also setting up cards in your soul. And when this unit attacks, Soul Blast 1, it gets plus 2 for each of your opponent's open rearguards. So if your opponent has no rearguards, it could be a potential 10k boost when it attacks, just adding for extra pressure on top of the retire skill with this unit alone. And also 3 copies of Great Flame, Axe of Ambitious Scales, Kogaflen. When this card is discarded from hand during your ride phase, Soul Blast 1, put this card on the bottom of the deck, and draw a card. So it's draw power when needed to use for the Ride deck cost. And when it's placed on rearguard, if you Persona Road this turn, counter blast 1, retire all your opponent's rearguards in the same column. So more ways to retire cards of your opponents. You can use Eugene to retire 1 column, and then this one to retire the other one, leaving just 1 rearguard to take care of behind your opponent's Vanguard. And 2 copies of Dragritter Durkham. When placed on rear, if you have a grade 3 Vanguard with Eugene and its card name, Soul Blast 1 or Energy Blast 3, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, retire it. If you did not retire, draw a card and this unit gets on rearguard once per turn. At the end of the battle, your Vanguard attacked. Choose one of your front row rearguards and restand it until the end of the turn. So it's a little more situational, but still giving you the option for the restand power, which kind of helps just with the option for the attack, because it has to be at the end of the battle your Vanguard attack. So if this card gets cleared out with Eugene's skill, you'll miss out on the restand power for one of your front row rear guards, giving the option for it. That's why we're only running the 2 of this card in the deck. For the grade 1s, we're running 4 copies of Springing Bullet of Duststorm Glynis. This card was released in the first set for Cardfight Vanguard Divines. On rear guard once per turn, when your opponent's rear guard is retired during your main phase, if you have a grade 3 or grade Vanguard with Eugene in its card name, stand this unit, and this unit gets +5 till end of turn. So just giving you more options for using this card as the rest cost, because then you can just restand it again after the unit is retired. And on the guard circle, having a +5k shield if you have a Vanguard with Eugene in its card name. We're also running 4 copies of Assault Bullet of Duststorm Oswald. This is the card that lets you restand your Vanguard, so very useful still at the end of the battle. Boost a Vanguard with Eugene in its card name if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, and they have no rear guard, so you have to completely clear out your opponent's rear guards to use this card, but just being a counterblast 1 and discarding a card from your hand to then increase the critical of your opponent's Vanguard, and you basically decrease or increase the drive to 1 to then restand that Vanguard to be able to attack again. It also just has that added pressure to be able to do so, so it's why we're running 4 copies of this card to always have the chance to use it. And 3 copies of Stormband Dragon, making use of the energy blasts in the deck again. And also just being able to use this card as another restand if a rear guard was retired at the beginning of the battle phase. Using this card when it's placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Eugene, to energy blast 3, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire. And if you didn't retire a card, draw a card. So at least you always have an option to use this card with your energy blasts as well, giving you the option with that. And the last of our grade 1s before the Sentinels being 3 copies of Stealth Fiend Shenri. When it boosts, if your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, or you play an order this turn, and this unit gets +5 until the end of that battle. And at the end of the battle, put this unit in the soul and draw a card, building up more soul and giving you draw power to clear out some of your rear guards as well, because then you're going to be calling new cards anyway with Eugene to that open column also. And the last of the grade 1s being the 4 copies of Twin Buckler Dragon, just running the 4 instead of the Bloodsorter Elementary Sanctitude as well, so we can always have a unit by chance to call as the added boost for Eugene's skill. I don't normally like to call the Sentinel, but we want that added option to be able to do so if we have to. With the trigger lineup being the 7 critical, so the 4 copies of Burning Flail Dragon, and the 3 Conduct Spark Dragon, with the next trigger being the 4 draws, which are the Flare Veil Dragon for the added 5k shield, and then the 4 heals being Parasolus, and the over trigger being the Dragon Deity King of Resurgence Dragveda, because along with the restand power of Oswald, having another over trigger to be able to do so with our Vanguard as well always comes in handy. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Always loved Eugene, and the fact that we finally got a new grade 3 makes it all the better for a complete change-up playstyle of the deck. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.